How would you introduce yourself on Tinder, like?
Inappropriate gifts. That's how you introduce yourself.
Without further ado, Luke and Daniel, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Luke. I've been playing a bunch of like online events during the lockdown. So I've topped the 3 LCSs during that time, which are basically these huge online tournaments. They're kind of like the closest equivalent we have to YCSs. And I play a lot of events IRL. And I've been seeing a lot of success recently and with Virtual World. So I thought I'd come on and try help Kayla out.
So I'm Dan. I'm also a Virtual World player. Me and Luke were playing in list for LCS 4 or LCS 9, LCS 4. I was absolutely sacked in the top 4 by Luke, and lost my chance at first place. But look, we're gonna move past that. I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for like 4 or 5 years, maybe a bit longer. I haven't seen too much like massive competitive success, like just cheeky regional tops here and there when I could find the time. Yeah, hopefully that'll change in the future. So I guess I hope that's a pretty good synopsis of who I am.
You two actually came up with the current Virtual World deck that you both won in together, right? And you were like testing that for weeks. How did that go? How did you actually come to the conclusion that you're gonna like do Virtual World together and then just go and destroy?
So like we normally like play and test like together like quite a lot like for events. So like we just played a shit ton. Like we played everything to the point where it's kind of just like, okay, like what has been performing best? What kind of like seems like is the strongest? And then like we had friends like Nash just spent an unreal amount of hours just trying to make spreadsheets of combos to try to figure this thing out. So me and Hef kind of built off of that, I think.
Wow, you put a lot of work into that deck. Fair play. Why do you think Virtual World is the best, actually?
That's a good question. It's like intrinsic strength is the fact that every Virtual World monster extends by summoning itself. So like if you have any Virtual World monster that can trigger, it'll send like more cards which you can use to continue your plays and also grind through interruptions with. And the other strength is VFD.
Yeah, VFD is pretty good.
Life. Fucking love VFD. Do you want to get into teaching me how the deck actually works? What would be our first 3 cards?
You can put in 3 Lulu.
3 Lulu. So 3 Gigi, Lao Lao, Nyan Nyan.
And then Lulu as well.
And Lulu.
Put in 3 of each spell, so the Qinglongs and Kowloons, and then 3 of the trap we have, Chuche.
3 Kowloon, 3 Chooch.
You can add the Shen to the extra deck, and you can add each of the sinkers actually, just one of each of the sinkers.
Just one of each, so 1 Shen and 1 Juju.
We can like talk about these briefly if you want.
Sounds
okay,
good.
So Lulu is the best one by far. You probably remember that they all have the same effect where you foolish a card of a different type that you target, not summon themselves.
So they send from the deck to the graveyard, yes?
Yeah. So Lulu is the best one, and it'll be the main centerpiece of every single combo you do because its third effect is that it adds. Oh, second effect, sorry, is that it adds any other Virtual World monster. So it's the best one because it summons itself and then gets another free one.
Okay, so it just kind of replaces itself, essentially.
Yeah, but it's extra good because the card you send to the graveyard most of the time is the spell, which the spell also adds one. So basically, Lulu, when resolving Lulu, adds 2 Virtual Worlds to your hand.
Then next is Gigi.
Yeah, so Gigi is the MVP, to be honest. He's the unsung hero.
So, he's a little doggy.
Like he doesn't seem that good because like he doesn't do anything immediately, but this is the card that like lets you like win grind games. So you just get to add back Lulu after your whole combo and do it again next turn, which is pretty silly.
Okay, so next is Lao Lao.
Yeah, so Lelo is the best one after Lulu because it's Monster Reborn. Yeah, so Lelo's the main combo extender because it reborns something. So like it's usually the one you'll use last in your combos. Okay. And then the next one is Nyan Nyan. Nyan Nyan is the shittest one by far. So it doesn't have the same effect as the other ones because it can't special summon itself from the hand. So it only has a grave effect and a banish effect. So it's basically if you summon a level 3 from anywhere, normal or special, then it summons itself as a tuner and gets banished and leaves the field. But when it's banished, it can recycle a Virtual World card. It can recycle any card.
Next up is Lily, isn't it?
Yeah, so Lily is basically it's a double Foolish Burial, so it'll send 2 other Virtual World cards to the graveyard. So it'll send Qinglong and Chuche most of the time, or like Long and Yan Yan. So it's good, but it's mainly good at the start of your combo to give you access to other names.
Okay, and then Qinglong, spell card.
Yeah, so this is like really important because of so like it has two effects. The effect on field is you can banish a virtual world card and target a face-up monster in the field and negate it until the end of the turn. But the best part of the card is that when in the graveyard you can banish it and add any virtual world monster, and then you discard a card afterwards.
Handy. And then we have Quailun.
Yep, so that activates either Chuche or Qinglong from deck. It has other bonus effects if you have other virtual world gates in the field. They're very nice when they come up, but they will almost never come up. Like you get to mill, you get to boost your guys. Boosting your monsters is really good sometimes. And the fourth effect, I've only seen one person do it ever, and it was insane.
The special summon up to 4 virtual world monsters with different names from your extra deck.
So you can summon Shen Shen and Juju all at once. It's pretty cool.
How do you do it with 4?
You need to have like 3 Chuche or like and make a combination of Chuche and Qinglongs and then activate this, and then you would have 4 in resolution.
And then the last one of the virtual world cards is the Chuche.
Yeah, so Chuche is the same as Qinglong. It has two effects. So the field effect is you can recycle 2 banished virtual world cards with different names, and then target and destroy a face-up card in the field. So that's really good because it plays around impermanence and droplet. So it means that your deck has a searchable out to Mystic Mine. And then the grave effect is you can send it off any of the virtual worlds to get it into grave, or you can discard it if you draw it off Qinglong. You can banish it from the grave and then reduce or increase the level of a virtual world monster by 3.
Oh,
so
yeah, so that would be handy when you're trying to summon VFD.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very nice. Okay.
You probably want to play. You can play like generic hand traps. It depends what you want to do because like I think Droll Knockbird is quite good right now. But if you want to just build like a generic virtual world deck that's like good into anything, you could just play like Gamma, Ash or something.
Ash first, I guess.
Yep.
3 Ash. Make sure it's the feet one, obviously. Gamma package and.
Foolish Burial Goods. Oh, Desires actually. That's an important one.
Yeah.
Foolish Barrier 3.
That's probably right.
Okay, so there's 37. What are we missing?
Emergency teleport, and then you
Emergency
can
teleport.
like these last spots. To be honest, like anything after the virtual world cards, the Desire is E-Tele, and maybe Foolish Burial Goods are like all flex spots. So like if you want to build your deck for a particular event, those are the cards you'll be changing.
What are we missing from the extra deck? So
True King of All Calamities.
Oh yeah. Just
2.
2? Okay.
Yeah, so the reason you play 2 is because you can make 2 if your first one gets Nibiru'd, and sometimes like you'll make 1, it'll get outed, and then you want to have a second one to make. You can play Coral Dragon, so the level 6 synchro.
Coral Dragon.
He's Dan's favorite. I've never heard anyone want to summon Coral Dragon more times than Daniel Heffernan.
It's just a guilt-free summon. Like it's gonna draw you whatever after. It's so good.
After Coral Dragon, what are we adding in?
Stardust Charge Warrior. You can play Croco, the level 9 synchro.
Yeah.
Just 1 or 2?
This one, yeah. You only really make it because you can make like 9s pretty easily. The second one doesn't matter what it actually is, and Croco's the best one because it lets you draw 1. But that's the only time you.
Okay, after Croco Boy, what do we got?
Cloud Castle.
Cloud Castle. Cool. One of them?
Yep. Vermilion Dragon mech. That's what it's called. Yeah, I was trying to think of what the last part was.
Okay, so after Vermilion, what we adding in?
We can play Chao Fang.
Chao Fang, the Phantom of the Yangzing. Cool stuff.
So from here, you can play number 75. Yep. Breaksword.
Phantom Knights of the Breaksword. Cool.
Utopia Beyond. Like a lot of the cards in the extra deck are just purely for utility. Scenarios come up or what you think is important or like good to use. So like some people will play like a second Cloud Castle over Utopia Beyond.
And then for your last 2 cards, is Zeus one of them?
Yeah, Zeus and M7.
Everyone is playing Zeus at the moment, so a lucky guess.
Yeah, a card is very good.
It's weird that probably every deck is going to be playing a copy of Zeus in the extra until the end of the game now. Maybe like decks that kind of explicitly someone will be playing it, but the vast majority of decks will have a copy of Zeus forever.
Don't forget to save.
Save! How many combos are there? Is it 2 or 3 or 4? A million?
Probably about 50 or 60. You can sort of vibe it out if you like play the deck enough. Like you can figure out which goes where even.
Our combo then is Kowloon and Lulu, correct?
Yeah. And that, for future reference, that is the stones. Like, if you ever see that, you are very, very happy.
Okay, so Kowloon Lulu equals titties.
Left titty Kowloon, right titty Lulu. Kick it off by activating the Kowloon, which is going to enable you to put a virtual world spell or trap from your deck into the face up in the spell and trap zone. The first action here is you activate Kowloon, which which means you can take a trap card from your main deck and
Yeah.
put it into this trap zone face up, and then the Kowloon will go to the graveyard.
To grave with you, Kowloon.
The next step is to activate the Lulu in hand by revealing it. If you're a real Dawn, you put it in the spell trap and you leave it there. But if you're Luke, you'll just quickly reveal it to throw the other person off. So, yeah, and then I want to forget later on because you're thinking about the combo so much. Fuck that. Put it in the spell and trap zone immediately.
So spell and trap.
So Lulu will activate here, which lets you send a card. So it targets a face-up virtual world card.
So we'll be targeting Chooch.
Yeah, the only other card in the field, and then you can send a card of a different type. So either a spell or a monster from deck to grave here.
Okay.
And then you can add a card of the third type, so the one that wasn't targeted or sent. So usually sending spell here is correct because you want to use the spell to extend further from the graveyard, the Qinglong.
Oh, Qinglong. Okay, so you send that to grave.
Yep, and then for the purpose of this combo, I think you add GG here off the Lulu.
GG.
Yep.
To hand, yeah?
Yep.
Cool.
And now you want to put the Lulu in the monster zone. So you want to activate the Qinglong in the graveyard now. You can banish the continuous spell to search a virtual world card and then send a card from hand to grave. Lily here.
Lily.
Yeah, which is the kind of the big guy, the level 6 that sends 2.
Okay.
Probably discard the other copy of the spell, maybe the trap card. Luke, is there
Chuchi or Qinglong?
I'd probably discard the trap because you're gonna send another spell with the Lily.
Okay, so just
Oh, it's okay. Okay, so we sent Chuchi to the grave.
Yep. So the next step is you want to activate Lily in hand, and you want to target the trap card.
Okay, we're gonna act Lily in hand, targeting the trap card.
And then this will let you send 2 cards from the deck to the grave of the second and third type. So you want to open the deck and send another copy of Qinglong and a copy of Nyan Nyan.
Okay, we're sending Nyan Nyan to the grave.
Nyan Nyan. Yeah, and the last Qinglong. Summon the Lily now, so that the effect is finished resolving. And then now you want to summon the GG in hand.
Okay, so same way you put it in the spell trap zone, target a card, yeah?
So you want to target the trap, and you want to send a copy of Virtual World Lao Lao.
Lao Lao. So that just goes to grave, yeah?
So it'll just go to grave. And then now that you've summoned a level 3 monster, you can special summon Nyan Nyan from your graveyard, and it becomes a tuner. So then you want to overlay your GG and your Lulu, and then summon 75 Gossip Shadow in defense, and then put it in the EMZ. Yep. And then from here, you want to synchro summon with Lily and Nyan for a synchro 9, and then Nyan is going to get banished through its own effect when it leaves the field.
Okay, so Lily to grave, Nyan Nyan, banish, and we're bringing out which?
So you're bringing out Vermilion Dragon Mech.
Okay.
The second effect of Nyan is going to trigger, which allows you to put back a banished card into the deck, so you're going to put back the spell.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, this is the setup tone. If you get to this point, you're probably safe, unless they have Imperm or something. So you want to activate Vermilion and then banish Lao Lao and target itself.
So we banish Lao Lao, targeting itself.
It pop a card in the field, and so you target itself, and then it dies.
Vermilion dies. Oh, so we're popping the Vermilion with Lao Lao, yeah?
Yeah, and now it has a second effect where if it's destroyed, you can add back a banished tuner, which Lao Lao conveniently is. So you add that to hand.
Wow, this deck has a lot going for it.
Yeah, and now you activate the Lao Lao in hand, targeting the trap. Yeah, and then probably want to send maybe a Nyan Nyan.
So
although you want to send Lulu here, so you can add it back with GG in the end phase. So if you just send Lulu,
send Lulu to grave, Grant, yeah.
And then summon the Lao Lao, and then the Lao Lao is going to summon back GG from grave.
You have to summon back the Lily because GG is still under Gossip Shadow.
Lily, sorry, yeah, I misspoke.
So Lily gets summoned back.
Just to the field. So now you want to use the trap card in the graveyard and target Lily to reduce its level by 3, which means you can synchro for 9.
Okay, so banish this, yeah?
Yeah.
And then targeting the Lily.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter which one you target, but just target one of them to reduce the level. And then now you want to synchro 9, so you want to synchro with Lao Lao and Lily, and you're experiencing a bit of lag there.
Any day there now, dueling book. Oh, we're back here. So first of all, put this in defense, but that's going to bring back Vermilion Dragon, yeah?
Yeah, Vermilion Dragon Mech, and then that's overlays to make the 50. So that's probably the best combo in the deck, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I suppose we could do one more combo.
The GG Lao Lao. So it's the kind of limping to VFD combo.
Okay. Limping to VFD combo. I like it.
It's
It's so
the minimum amount of resources that you have that can still make VFG in this deck. This is the minimum amount of resources.
Yeah, it's extremely scuffed.
Okay, so how would we go about doing the limping to VFD combo? So we have
So
a pot
you
of desires, we have the gamma, and we have an ash.
Yeah, so like Ash, Gamma, and Desires could just be 3 blank cards here. So
Yeah.
you want to start it off. So the like goal of this combo is that if you get a spell engrave and you can use the effect, it means you can get to Lulu, and Lulu is the key to the deck. Like, so you want to start by like normal summoning your copy of Gigi, which is the only play really. Yeah. And then you want to like activate the Lao Lao in hand, targeting the Gigi. This hurts because you're obviously missing out on quite a lot of potential value from Lao Lao in the turn. You only get 1 per turn.
Yeah.
But it's nice that when it's your only play, it can still be useful. Lala will send a spell here, targeting Gigi.
Going long, right?
Yep, that one.
To grave. Grant.
Yep, and then Lala will summon itself in defense because it has 0 attack. Cool. So now you want to activate the spell card in graveyard, Qinglong.
And banish that, yeah?
Yep. And so let you search a copy of any virtual world monster. And you want to add Lulu.
Done. Grant.
And then you want to just discard whatever's most relevant to the graveyard at this time. Just we'll say Gamma for now because you have monsters on field.
Okay, so we just send this to the grave, yeah?
Yeah, so it just goes to your grave to pay the cost of the spell or the effect even.
Okay.
So now you want to use the Lulu targeting any virtual world monster. Maybe there's some obscure theory that says one target is better than the other, but I don't know what it is.
I think you're fine either.
So we'll say Lulu targeting Gigi, okay?
Yeah, and then so Lulu will send a card that isn't a monster. So it's gonna, in this case, send a trap card. So a copy of Chuche.
So that sends it to grave, yeah?
Grave, yeah. And then it's gonna add the card of the 3rd type, which is a spell. So it's gonna add Kowloon.
To hand.
Yep.
Okay.
So this is powerful because it means that we can have the trap card this turn and use the effect. So Lulu will summon here.
Then we summon Lulu.
Now what you want to do is you want to synchro summon with Lao Lao and Gigi to make Shen Shen, and you want to put it in the extra monster zone. So this is probably Luke's favorite card as well.
It is, yeah.
Why is it your favorite card?
It's just a beast. It wins you games that you have no business winning because like Virtual World's a very good deck without Shen Shen, but Shen Shen is like a level 9 that summons itself back every turn that banishes all of your opponent's resources and recycles yours. So like it's just so broken. In every control matchup, in most control matchups, this is just better than VFD because like Eldritch cards, for example, they all just get banished. So like they literally can't do anything. And like against prank kids as well, like they just can't play through it because everything gets banished, so they can't do anything. Yep.
It's such a powerful generic statement. Like I'm fairly certain Konami shouldn't really print cards like this anymore.
But you know they're going to.
We have all the pieces now. So what you want to do, you want to activate Kowloon from hand to place the trap card from the deck into the spell and trap zone. You're going to activate a trap card from the deck face up.
Chuche, yeah?
Yep.
There we go.
So now conveniently the copy of Kowloon gets banished thanks to Shen Shen, which means it's a free material for our trap card later on. Now we want to activate the trap card in our graveyard, the one in the grave, yeah. And we want to target Shen Shen to reduce its level by 3 to make it level 6, which means that conveniently we have the materials to Synchro 9 again, so we Synchro summon with both of them to make Cloud Castle. Yep. So this is, special summon defense. This is probably like the most vulnerable point in your entire turn. If Cloud Castle gets impermed or gamut, you're up shit creek really. So the Cloud will summon
vulnerable.
Shen. It's quite vulnerable. I mean, it's the difference between ending on VFD or not ending on VFD, and you use your Shen Shen to make this.
The upside is that if they had this, because this hand was so bad, you kind of are like, well, if they have any interaction, I lose anyway. So you may as well go for it, because if they had Ash or Gamma, they would have just hit Lao, because your hand it's very clear to your opponent that your hand is really weak when you start with those.
Well, you never know. It might not be. It wouldn't have been obvious to me. I would have been like, oh, fuck Virtual World, and then have a panic attack and shut down. You can imagine that's going to happen to a lot of people anyway, so I always would say, just play through it anyway, even if you think you have the shittest hand ever, because your opponent could also have the shittest hand.
It's called playing to win, man. Absolutely.
Always play to win. Okay, so from here, Cloud Castle, yep.
Yeah, so the Shen Shen comes back, and now you have 2 level 9s. And you know what that means? It means you have VFD.
Or does it matter where I put VFD?
Luke thinks so.
Extra monster zone. When in doubt, extra monster zone.
Yeah. And should I put him in attack or defense in your defense?
Yeah. So the reason why it's extra monster zone is the best one, and I won't rant about it at all because I like too much, because I always talk to Hef about it. So right now there's actually only one good main monster zone to summon things into, because there's a few cards that Triton play in the extra deck that can steal monsters you control depending on what zones they're in, but the 2 ones that they can't ever do are the extra monster zone and they can't use Cerberus to target it either. And the monster zone furthest to the right. So those two zones are always the safest ones. So you should always try to use those two. It's the type of thing you won't think about at all, and then you'll lose a game because of it, and you'll be so mad at yourself over it. You'll be like, why did I put that card there? Like,
But no, I think like the little things like this are the difference between winning all your games and fluke winning your games. When you're
Yeah,
actually like consciously thinking about where will I put this card, why, and why should it literally go in this zone, because Drytrans can steal it otherwise. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, so they're the two plays, and like you said, you limp to VFD, but you still get to VFD.
Yeah,
if
we
they
give
can't
you like a
disrupt it.
pretty broad spectrum, so like the best play and the worst play.
So I suppose that's it for the combos. I would make the prediction that Ashe is a really good hand trap to play against virtual worlds. Nibiru possibly, but I don't know about Nibiru. So if I was to play against virtual world, I'd be like, okay, we're going to use Ashes, Gammas, and Nibirus against them. Am I correct in saying that?
I'm getting deja vu to a conversation me and Luke actually had today about this.
Oh, really? Yeah, 'cause what I really want to find out, the main information that I'm looking to find out here, just by learning the deck and everything and getting a better feel for the deck, where exactly should I Ashe? Or with the conversation we had a while ago about Gamma, which was really informative. It's like when Shadow's on the field, then you Gamma the Lau, then that would leave virtual world players in a very shitty position. Pretty much, correct?
For sure.
Because then you still have the Gamma. They've had to use the bamboozle part, right? But they still have the Gamma in hand. Is that how it works?
Yep.
And they're also starting their turn with 7 cards in hand now. One of them is Gamma,
Yeah.
which is insane.
Yeah, Gamma definitely for sure is a good card to play against virtual world players, and I'd say probably against a lot of decks at the moment anyway. And Ashe, in your opinion, guys, what would you say is the best card to Ashe?
I would say you Ashe like Lulu pretty much every time. So like no matter what they start with, virtual world card wise, even if they start with goods, it's always safest to Ashe Lulu. But if they start with desires, then you always Ashe it. But however, if your opponent starts with Lolo as like really early, as in like so like if your opponent normal summons something and activates Lolo, or activates Kowloon or Qinglong and activates Lolo, you Ashe it. Like there's no question, you have to Ashe it, because their hand is garbage if they are activating Lolo first. Like it is their only play.
And all of the virtual world cards are Asheable as well, aren't they?
Yeah, all the ones that send from deck to grave, so all the ones that special summon in hand.
Okay. How does Impermanence fare against it?
Against virtual world, it's not great because you can never negate the hand effects, because they all activate and resolve in hand. You can negate stuff like Cloud Castle if you're lucky, which is very good, and like if they don't have the trap, Impermanence of VFD is good. It's pretty terrible against virtual world in general. I think if you do play Impermanence, then you just have to not use it and try to and hope they use Cloud Castle and then negate Cloud Castle.
And then as well, Droll and Lockbird is obviously seeing a lot of play at the moment because of Drytrons. Like I think I'm at this point almost like maining Droll and Lockbird. Does that hit virtual world hard as well?
No, not really. So like it's okay against virtual world. Like it'll shit on like the occasional hand.
Okay.
Because sometimes you'll have to start with desires and then you'll draw into like goods or something and you get trolled and then you don't have a way to play. Like generally it'll only prevent 1 search and 2 searches max, because you only search about 2 or 3 times in a turn. You normally go like Lulu, send spell, add GG, and if you get drolled there, it's kind of like not the end of the world, because minimum it's Shen Shen, and if you have another name then you can extend them to VFD.
Okay, that's fair enough. And then I guess Nibiru, how would that fare against virtual world? And if you were to Nibiru virtual world, if you can, where exactly would you do that?
Nibiru is definitely very good against virtual world.
Ooh.
The combo we showed you with 75 wasn't the standard combo before the last LCS,
Okay.
and Nibiru just absolutely ended the virtual world players' turns pretty much every time. So if people are doing the combo we showed you, it's not as good, but it's still good, because the issue is that they make 75 as the 5th summon. So generally Nibiru is best when paired with another hand trap, because then you can use the other hand trap to stop them making 75. So you negate a virtual world name, then they probably can't use 75, make 75 anymore, and then Nibiru will be good. You can hold it till the very end. Like you can let them summon the VFD, then Nibiru them. Like that's okay.
Okay.
If you don't care about the Shen Shen in the graveyard.
And then obviously Gamma is really good against all decks at the moment.
Yeah,
The whole gamma package is just, it's unreal. Is there any other hand trap I'm missing or something I'm missing that would be really good against Virtual World?
Yeah, Lancia. Lancia is very good.
Lancia.
That's probably the best one, yeah.
Yeah, Lancia is the best one. So Lancia, it's correct to use it in standby phase. You use it immediately, like as soon as you draw it, you activate it. The reason you activate it in standby is because it turns off Pot of Desires and it turns off Tactical Talents, because Tactical Talents is only main phase.
Okay.
So that's like playing around 6 cards instead of playing around 3.
So literally just Lancia straight away. And this might be a silly question for just on my side. I'm just like, can you gamma a gamma?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, cool.
It's actually pretty good. Whenever you can gamma a gamma, it's usually pretty blowout.
So like
for example,
they could Lancia, or you could Lancia, then they could gamma, and then you could gamma, and then it resolves backwards, and that'd be really funny.
because Lancia is resolved, the gamma and driver on field won't banish themselves in end phase. So like that can be relevant because like let's say you're playing against your virtual world opponent, you Lancia them, and then they're like okay, and then they do something, and then you gamma them. That means you start your turn with 3,500 damage in the field.
Does DD Crow do anything to it, or if you were to DD Crow them, what would you DD Crow?
It does. It's okay, but it's pretty bad. You pretty much have to DD Crow every time they put a Qinglong in the graveyard. But because you're like doing it preemptively, if they have another virtual world name or any way to get another Qinglong grave,
Yeah.
you just wasted your hand trap. It's okay. It's just not that great. A card that does a similar job but is better is against virtual world is Skullmeister. Does the exact same thing but negates the actual Qinglong effect, so it doesn't matter if they have a second one in the grave.
I suppose that answers a lot of my questions. So I now know kind of, sort of, I guess, how to play around Virtual World a bit. Thank you both for joining me with this so much. Like, I really appreciate the best Virtual World players in the world teaching me how to take down their decks. That's always nice. No, basically, guys, it's a really cool deck, and obviously has so much potential to be just destroying. And obviously, it has won the LCS, and I suppose you're going to be winning a few more before the year is out. Do you guys have any last words, guys? Anytime I say that to my nephew, he goes, bye.
So a good motto to live by when you're playing Virtual World, especially at the beginning, is if you don't know what to do, search GG with Lulu, and the rest of the combo will play itself out.
That is good advice.
just keep that in mind at all times. Other than that, no, I was just gonna say big shout out to the lads on Mambo. Big shout out to the lads on WAF, who I hope will do really well again in this coming LCS. And keep an eye out for my team, which features me, Olin, McCarthy, and Vlad. We're going to come first in the LCS for sure this time.
Ooh, good luck, guys. I'm sure you'll do great. Luke, do you have anything? Any final words?
Yeah, shout out to my team, Eman Games. And yeah, it's the same thing Dan said, just shout out to the WAF lads. I don't know what I'd do without them. Like, honestly, they're the best group to theory at the events.
Oh, that's really sweet. So thanks again for everything. I really appreciate it. And come back and teach me decks anytime.